Hello and welcome to another episode of alternate feature of Adizzpro's WICSO. Saw a lot of stuff in last episode, such as the collapse of West Africa. Well, not really collapse, a big war. We saw neo-authoritarianism expand, specifically into India, and other events. I can't remember. But, so we can get started, and we're actually going to start off with countries joining military alliances. And the first thing happening is, the Lime team joining the Dutch and Russian alliance. And this is pretty crazy, and after this happens, countries are starting to get a little bit shocked, and Egypt is going to pull out of the Lightning Bolt Alliance, and the Dutch are going to prepare their military, and they will start to invade these countries in the British Isles, starting with Wales, who they will invade and annex. They then will invade this Cornwall country, and now at this point, this orange country is going to go ahead and annex this blue one. And it's also going to actually join Ireland. And I know this is going to by a little bit fast, and events are unfolding fast. And, we can see so far both these alliances seem to be gearing up for something, and that something is, of course, war. And it will strike. War will strike. A war will initiate between these as the Russians will move their troops into Crimea and quickly take control of the Crimean Peninsula, and this starts the war. And it's the lightning bolts versus the diamonds. The Farmers Union is gonna just stay quiet for now. And, so as you can expect, the Russians, they were prepared for this. They knew this was going to happen, and so they are going to take these two cities, and they hope to just have a quick little operation going down and towards the capital, and they hoped that they could wipe out this country so fast that they wouldn't initiate the alliance, and it's going a little bit slower than they expected, as troops from other countries are here. The capital will soon fall, and this country will in turn begin to fall, but there are still troops holding out, and this, like I said, has initiated the war. And in response to this, the war, it's official, but it's kind of like almost unofficial. But at this point, it will become officially official as Roman troops respond by invading into Sicily and taking control of the island, and as well as Malta. And this is, it's kind of debated what was the actual start of the war. But the Russian invasion of Crimea and the rest of this country is seen as the main thing. And, this war will begin. As we now see, Iberian troops will put up a fight, but South Iberia, I don't know what the official name is, will barge right in and make sure to capture the capital. From here, the government is actually just gotten rid of, disposed of. and yeah, they didn't do a real good job at protecting their government, and now the rest of Iberia will fall, and yeah, this is pretty big. Also, there's no Egyptian distraction over here now, so that is good for the neo-authoritarians, but the Irish are trying to put up a fierce fight over here in the British Isles, but they really don't stand a chance against the Dutch. However, they will go ahead and make a landing on Iceland, as they do wipe it out to try and make sure the Dutch can't have a base for a landing in Ireland. Although, I mean, they can just do it right here, it'd probably be easier, but the Irish are just kind of trying to take as much land as possible. And the Russians, like I said, they are aware of the consequences their invasion of Crimea has brought about, and they will begin to just flood into Finland. And I mean, this whole area, it's really cold up here. It's technically not under Russian, I mean, it kind of is, but the Russians are just moving through this really quickly, and Finland almost looks as if it's about to collapse. The Dutch are just preoccupied with mainly the Roman front, which leads the Norwegians to swoop in and attempt to kick the Dutch off of their mainland, but a holdout will be held over here. And the Norwegians are putting up a very good fight. And there are even talks about them trying to make a landing in Denmark, although nothing is confirmed yet. And well, now the war against Rome is really here, and the Dutch are putting up a good fight, but so are the Romans. But the Dutch are starting to move into Rome, and their main focus is over here in Rome, and they want to basically cut off this area and just kind of hope this area will just get liberated or something. They're really just hoping a lot here, and it's going slower than they would like. The Romans are very, very nationalistic, and with the return has brought about them as the number one spot of nationalism in Europe. And second place is Russia, then third is the Dutch. And yeah, but now that the French are done in Iberia, as well as these guys, the South Iberians, and all the Africans, they are looking over here, and France is going to take this opportunity, and they are going to make a landing on Corsica, taking over the whole thing, then taking Sardinia, and the African Union is trying to make a landing in Sicily, and you know, the Romans are putting up a good fight, and nothing happens for quite a while. Everyone's putting up a good fight, and the Irish and Dutch, they are both gaining ground. The Dutch are gaining more, though, but the Dutch will now actually pull back some army from this front line with Rome, which does lead to not a whole lot of success. They are actually pushed back quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but instead they will send their army up here, and they will focus on Ireland, and, well, they will kick them out of Dutch territory, and they'll chase them back in, and they'll now pull troops from the Norwegian front as well, as it's very risky, but they do let them get this area. And yeah, Norway could probably even make a landing on this island if they really wanted to, but the Dutch are putting everything against Ireland, and it's going really good. The Irish are not having a lot of success, and they will just now have their island, and the Dutch will even make a small, very small actually, landing on Iceland, but the Irish did not properly supply this area, leading to its fall. And now the Dutch can direct their forces back at the other front lines. And, well, those talks about the Norwegians landing in northern Denmark were actually correct. They do land in northern Denmark as an attempt to get the Dutch out of here and kind of encircle this island. And the coast is still holding out, though. And the Russians, we haven't even talked about the Russians at all over here. They are, they just finished wiping out this country, and they are now starting a very big advance into this eastern Russian country, and it's going very good. And this pink country is going to, they claim it's for this East Russian country's unsafety. Maybe it is, but the pink country, or Kazakhstan, will start to sweep in, and they will take the remainder of this country. They knew it did not have a chance against Russia, and there's just kind of like a very big stalemate happening over here on the border. The Russians are pushing back Finland, though, but not a lot. They were pushing them back, and now they're getting pushed back by the Finnish, and now it's actually quite a big pushback. And some of the people in Russia are even starting to question their military, because it's failing a lot. And this is why the Russians have not started to invade Kazakhstan, because they need to focus on other stuff first. And the Dutch are very scrambled right now, but they will go ahead and actually kind of surprisingly kick Norway out of Denmark, and they will call for their African allies and Iberian allies to go ahead, stop trying to invade Rome, and give them more military. And the French will start moving most of their military, not moving it, but start training it for an invasion of Ireland. And Ireland is even, there have been some talks, none official yet, but Ireland might even pull out of the war and just retreat back to their island. But once again, nothing is official. And so that is what's going on there. But in response to this, there is a little rebellion in the capital city of France that they want to establish a democratic country once again, and they will actually surprisingly take over that city, because most of the French military is not in France, and they will attempt to move over to other cities now, but their success will be halted and quickly pushed back as they are put down. And not actually, I say that as if it's surprisingly, these guys are neo-authoritarian, of course, but they put them down in very brutal ways. And so the Iberians, it's a joint occupation, but I guess what it looked like more is they are given charge of occupying more of these areas, but it doesn't matter too much. But all these countries now are putting their military in the Dutch country, and their strategy is to knock out one foe at a time. And right now it's Ireland. Ireland, their navy has been on a decline. And, well, it is now gone. The Dutch have wiped it all out. Well, not just the Dutch, their allies as well. And they will make a landing in Ireland, and it will go extremely successful. They will attempt to encircle this capital region so that the leader cannot escape, and they will be successful, and Ireland will fall. And this is a big step in the war, because now the Dutch put a lot of stuff they had in Ireland to the rest of the front lines, and they're gonna start preparing to try and wipe out Norway. And Finland, their success is very grand. And even a lot of these colder regions, they are pushing back the Russians. But the Russians are now putting their military just right here. And they are just going full-on encirclement. And they have a very large portion of military here. It is too much for the Finnish, and they will lose their capital city. And with it, their coast begins to fall. And the Finnish, they put up a great fight, but in the end, they knew they couldn't win against the Russians. And, their nationalism will quickly fall. And Norway is now on the border with Russia. And this is very dangerous. And also what's dangerous is that Russian and Dutch ships are starting to battle over here in this country. And maybe that's why Russia couldn't take out Finland. But Russian military will now surprisingly land here. And they will have great success. And this country over here will fall. And this is pretty crazy. The Russians are just taking out a lot of stuff. Russia is, once again, one of the most nationalistic countries in Europe and one of the most nationalistic countries on Earth. And, they will now start to attack the Romans from the behind. And it's not going particularly well so far. They are not familiar with this land, but the Romans also don't have a bunch of defense here. And, the Dutch have now kind of seemed to change their plans as their troops are now storming in, and they will have a very bloody battle in the city, but it will be a Dutch victory. The Dutch will also take over this city and this one, and these two armies will meet up, and the Dutch have encircled this land, and it will quickly fall. And this isn't like super valuable land. It's the Alps, but it is good to have. And the Romans are now starting to lose the peninsula, and the French and the Africans and the Iberians are now preparing for their invasion of Sicily, and it will happen. They will land in Sicily, and they will take it over. And never mind. But they will land in Sicily and re-liberate it, as well as Malta. And now all of the armies combined will start a march up the Italian peninsula, and they will meet with the Dutch. In this area will fall, and the Dutch claim this marks the end of Rome, as they are now pretty I mean, just look at the war. They're one of the only countries still existing on their side. One of three, and actually one of two now because, well, Crete pulled out. And, yeah, the Russians are now picking up speed and advances. And the Farmers Union will, surprisingly, maybe with Mesopotamian support, start to zoom in to Rome. And they claim this is to make sure that it cannot fall under neo-authoritarian control. And that might be true. But the Dutch will actually make a landing in the Roman capital city, and with it brings the fall of Rome. And Rome will spend, well, Crete will actually annex the ports that Rome got earlier, but yeah, Rome will spend their last days in Greece and Albania and North Macedonia, and eventually in this major city, Rome will fall once again. And we can take a look. Well, actually, not yet. I forgot Norway's still in the war. Yeah, Norway. Well, they're on their own. All these armies combined are marching up here, and the Dutch will make a landing in Norway, and Norway's Norway's nationalism is now crushed by the invading forces, and the Dutch and the Russians are just crushing their armies. Yeah, the Russians have attacked from the north and went down the peninsula, and the Dutch have, well, almost gotten rid of Norway, and their armies will march into the city, or into the capital city of Norway, and take it, and that, I believe, officially ends this war. Make sure I didn't forget anything. Yeah. So we can take a look at this peace treaty in which the neo-authoritarians win. I just want to say too, Indian forces were involved on the side of the neo-authoritarians. I just forgot to mention them. And this is a wildly different Europe than it was before. So Ireland is pushed back to their own island. Norway is completely split up. The Balkans are also split up. The Russians get control of this strait right here. And, well, actually, too, they probably get control of this area right here. Well, I don't know, but they probably control this area, too. But, yeah, Iberia is gone, and so are Corsica and Sardinia. And looking military alliance-wise, we can see the neo-authoritarian alliance expanded quite a bit. And, well, actually, I guess not quite a bit, but some. And we can see economical alliances. There are barely any. Just this one helping rebuild over here. And, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Ideology. You can pause to see what's going on here. I guess I forgot Finland. But yeah, this is what it's looking like. And the reason I said I'll come back to this is because, well, a lot of countries are going to go ahead, well, not go ahead, but are going to be suspended from the new international order. So, southern Italy or Sicily, France, South Iberia. West Africa is not. These two countries will be, that are both neo-authoritarian, and well, this one will be as well as this one, and yeah, that's it. But there's a big cloud of neo-authoritarianism over here, and it's getting suspended because, well, the Mesopotamians are kind of like, it's as if they're almost the controller of this whole new international order, but in a way they're also not. But yeah, the point is, a lot of countries are suspended. Ireland is not, Norway is not, but yeah, and the only reason some countries were not, like West Africa and India, is because they didn't really take land from the war. I mean, of course, this one didn't either, but it's kind of just, pointing at the map and saying, let's just suspend these countries. And of course, they all are neo-authoritarian, so that is something. Oh, also, I guess I need to update this. And also, sorry this took up most of the video. Wish I would have done it a little bit quicker. But, well, now it's time for another event, and this is a pretty major one. The neo-authoritarians have made their way to the gold country in Ethiopia, and, well, they've taken over, as you can see, most of the country. The government will fight back a little bit, but overall, these neo-authoritarians are taking over. And of course, last time Ethiopia had this kind of ideology, it was not good, of course. And immediately Mesopotamia is going to declare war on this country, and the Unitarians, well, are kind of brought into this war, and well, now it's all of this versus this, so I think you can see how this is going to play out. But Mesopotamian and Unitarian and just all the forces are going to make a landing on this island, and Unitarians are going to start to spread out, and they're going to make their way up to the capital to try and overthrow the government. And a landing will be made over here, and they will go around and encircle to these cities and wipe them out, and they will continue encircling areas and cities, and it's kind of looks like a spider web, and this technique works, and they're just searching, well, not really just searching, but they're attempting to get rid of the government, and they were prepared that the government might flee, which is why they do this. Unfortunately, they kind of forget about this area, and a big battle at the city will take place, but the Unitarians will surprisingly lose it, and by this point they will encircle the capital city once again and win the second battle of that city, and the capital will fall, but they did not find the leader. And from here, it's just a bunch of just militaries just going through the north, just searching, and yeah, they have yet to find anything, but now this is getting wiped out, and well, the militaries will continue down here, cutting them off from Tanzania just in case. I don't think it'd be anything. But they make sure to send their Navy out here and Air Force, and they now encircle this area where the troops will defend, and specifically the city, but eventually Unitarian forces will enter the city, and they will find the leader of this neo-authoritarian country, and they will dispose of him, quickly ending this, what could have been very bad. Yeah. And the original government is restored, and that is very good. We know what these guys did. But what's not very good is that India, well, their soldiers are now lining up on the border of this purple country, and they have now started to invade, and they're doing it very fast, and they are met with more resistance than expected, especially in this part, as they actually find Mesopotamian forces there, but then they wipe it out, and they kind of just pretend that didn't happen, and they annex this country. So, that's not good for that country. And at this point, Mesopotamia, they will declare throughout the new international order that all neo-authoritarian countries will be suspended, and this goes for West Africa, this Saharan country, even goes for Ireland, Norway, this Oslo country, and let me see if there's any more I missed. Well, of course, the Lime team, but yeah, that is that, and with this, the leader of Mesopotamia now declares that neo-authoritarianism is just banned. Like, honestly, even if you say the word, that's dangerous to even say the word. They ban it, and this will soon be followed by the other Unitarian countries, but in a less harsh manner, kind of like instead, you cannot do this, it's just, don't do that, please. And obviously that's more, it could promote it more, but it's not putting it down directly like Mesopotamia is doing. And their country's feeling a lot of ripples from this, and it seems as something is stirring up here, so do take note of that. But I think we can look at one more event, and that is the Mediterranean country will make a landing in Sicily and take over the peninsula, and basically just say, hey, we're taking this, it's ours now, and they'll annex it, and a treaty will be held that basically just gives the Mediterranean country Sicily, and forces this country to now be South Italy. So it's really not that much different. So it's mainly just because the Mediterranean country fought really hard, and the only thing they gained in that war was Sardinia, and they wanted more. But anyway, yeah, that's gonna do it. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry that European war took most of the video, but I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye.